What's up, Foxheads? Welcome to part 2 of a 3-series video of installing the weather strip on an 86 Mustang on the T-tops. In this video, we're going to go over the actual rubber seal installations around the A and B pillar and around the T-top itself, and we'll go over the installation on the rubber on the T-top bottom right here. We're also going to go over a little bit on how to adjust it, the adjustments, and also putting in the silicone in the places that you don't want water to drip out. So stay tuned. Okay, it is the next day, and as usual on this show, since I don't hold anything back, I tell you guys the truth. And the truth of the matter is, it took me almost all day just to get the felt in. We still have a lot to go. Last night I did go ahead and mock up all the weather stripping from the doors. We still had to put the seals on the bottom of the T-top itself. I also have this that's supposed to go in between your C channel. This is the channels that go on your A and B pillar on where the weather strip actually clips into. This goes behind it. I didn't use it. Maybe I should take off and do it. But let me show you guys right before we get ahead and start putting on the rest of the weather strip on the T-tops themselves. That'll kind of complete at least the T-top seal. Let me show you guys what I'm dealing with here. Okay, your main T-top seal, your rubber strip that goes around your A and B pillar is set in place, and I've got it sitting here. So it goes around the A pillar, around the top of the T, and down to the B pillar. This is the main seal that holds the water out of your T-top. Now there's another seal that goes across here that has it made perfectly up against these angled pieces here, and that helps keep obviously the water. This is the part that's leaking the most and can cause the most leaks. So your T-top has to fit nicely into these, not squish into it this way or squish into it that way and cause these things to bow up. So I wanted to show you guys though, so this place is in mock-up. We're going to do one side at a time and take it slow, because each one of these sides you can have run into your own little issues, and I know that the door and the door window is likely to be needing to be adjusted for all this to work. Last night I did mock it up. I wanted to see how it fit. I wanted to put the T-top on before replacing the T-top seal, just to make sure that this top rubber seal is good to go. And I'll show you guys absolutely how stiff and new this stuff is. Now I heard this is common on these T-top seals. Don't be alarmed that when you put these things in, you're going to find that this new rubber is extremely tight, and as you can see here, it is. So the top is sitting on the rubber right now. Normally, this would sit all the way down. You just slam this closed, latch it, and call it a day. The amount of pressure that I had to put down on this is kind of scary. I thought I was going to break in or crack. If you go on the inside here, I could feel the back half of the T-top is firmly pressed up against the rubber seal, whereas this half has a nice big gap in it. That's because, as you can see, the top clearly needs to be pushed down a lot. So you could force it in. I'm hoping that the seals loosen up a bit. I thought originally it was maybe the felt, but it's not. If I take the rubber out and lay the T-top in, it goes down without any problems, and the seal is not where the felt's not really in the place, or in the wrong place. But just firm pressure, it will lock down, and as you can see, it lines up fairly well here as well as here. So now we've got a major gap or a major issue between this placement of the A pillar seal and these guys on the T-top itself, which are hard. So that is going to be the next step. We have the felt in, we have the main A, B, and T-top seal, which is one big piece, and now we're going to put this piece on here. Okay guys, make some room on your bench. Try not to scratch anything here. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is remove these two Phillips screws. Be gentle with the old plastics. This stuff will crack on you. I'm going to go over this area here. That. go. So it should pull straight up. This is pieces for your lock, so it kind of locks in place there. That's where your lock goes, so move that aside. That is where my seal goes, that is now gone. And there's some of the seal left, so that's good trash. Alright. Now the rubber seal, as you can see, is below these screws here. And it is placed into here, alongside here, as well as up there. I know once this is put in place, we want to put a little bit of silicone right on the edges here, and some contact cement to hold this down a little bit. So, next thing I'm going to do is get the Phillips head and remove the retaining screw here. This actually screws into the rubber seal. Okay, so once the two retaining screws have been removed, you should be able to just pull this seal out. Okay, I grab my tool here to help wiggle some of this stuff out. Okay, so really kind of getting in here with a screwdriver and just getting back behind where you can peel some of this off is by far the most time consuming part. This is what took me so much of yesterday, just getting this stuff off. Because whoever had it on mine, or if anyone's ever replaced it, or maybe it's like this from Ford, I don't know. But it is pretty well stuck on, so you just got to keep going at it, man. And I will not bore you guys with this. But let me show you guys the new piece. You can see this will go in right into the same channel this goes in. There's nothing special here. It's just a regular groove slot that goes to the C channel right here, and I'll go into this channel there. Now you do want to, before we go gluing this down, we want to put this T-top in and adjust it this way and that way to make sure the ends butt up with each other. So right now we just gotta get the damn thing off. Okay, I got the majority of the big stuff out. Now it's really just a matter of kind of getting a wire brush and really kind of getting into the channels. Okay, again, it's not perfectly clean. I don't really think you have to have this as clean as, say, engine surface gasket, but you just want to get some of this major stuff off. I'm not going to worry about getting every single little piece off quite yet, because first what I want to do is just try to get this test fitted and try to mark forward and aft where the seal needs to go. So I'm going to slide it in. To do that, you notice this groove here. This groove will slide underneath that. It's kind of like a flange or a tangent, I guess you want to call it, and it'll slide under here. What you want to worry about is your C channel, or these this tongue and groove slot here that clicks into your C channel bottom and top. So what I do is put it in the bottom first, kind of get the bottom seal part in, and then push in with your fingers. Now is a good time to get this utility. Okay. Okay, so that's actually in. It's in the groove on both sides. This piece is going to lay flat down in this groove here, and we're going to want to scrape all that out and then re-glue this really good with some silicone and some contact cement. This will lie flat here, and we'll want to put some silicone around the edges of here and on the back side through there. We also want to do that on this other side. So what I'm going to do first, notice how this is grooved, and that's got to come down and locks in place right there. So this is going to require quite a bit of glue to sit and set. This is going to require some silicone, whatever. And then we'll put the screws back in. What I want to do first is lay this into the car and then mark it a couple spots with some white chalk to make sure I know where this is going to be good forward and aft, to make sure that it lines up perfectly with the rubber seal that's in the car. Okay, see, this is what I was talking about. There's already pretty major problem here. Okay, so remember how I said you got to adjust the forward and aft of the seal? This is what I'm talking about. This is way off. So if I were just to glue it in place, put it all back there, slap it on, this is the kind of problem you would get. An absolute hole. So way worse than what you started with. What we want to do now is first, let me make sure I got the right side on. Okay, so I flipped pieces. This is actually the other one in the box, and it turns out it's a lot better. So either I had them flipped or had them reversed somewhere or another. This still needs some adjustments, but I can tell already that this is lining up quite a bit better than the other one. So now I've got this piece coming out here. Okay, that is much better. Still not perfect. But now I can at least take it off on the bench. We can slide it over just a little bit more this way. This one's still buckling just a little bit. And the door, let me see if this, what you want, and when you shut the door, let me explain this to you real quick, guys. When you shut the door, the first click, this should already be started to come into the groove here. So this is actually not too bad. And then we got up here, we got a huge gap. So what this tells me is that this window, looking at it, needs to be tilted. There's adjustments for it this way, and there's a bump stop for up and down. So you can adjust it back stop, front stop, tilt this way, and forward and aft or towards you. So this window clearly needs adjusted. It is obviously going to be a lot better once I shut the door really tight. This is going to be a nice tight seal up through here. You want it going in this channel as you see here. Now this still needs to be adjusted some, so I'm going to go ahead and move this back. Right now I'm just concerned about making sure this gasket is touching this piece here and not squishing up against this piece. You can see it's squishing just a little bit and not quite touching right there. So we got this little bit of daylight there. We don't want that. So I come to the conclusion now that to do any more adjustments on these gaskets, I need to go ahead and get the gaskets really nailed down and glued in on the car itself. So we're going to go ahead and do that. I know I'm jumping around all over the place. You guys just follow along with me. This is how it is. I've never done this before. So okay, guys, I know it's a tedious process. I'm doing the best I can with this. Hopefully it won't leak. But I went ahead and position this where I like it. I'm going to go ahead and put the screws in here just to hold it in place while. Okay, so I kind of got that screw set there. Now I'm going to go ahead and peel this side up. We're going to put some contact cement on the back side and then go ahead and squish this in place and go ahead and let this sit. And then we'll get this side glued down and put some silicone all around the edges of it. So I've got one set screw here. That's kind of holding it in place. Again, I'm not going to go liberal with this. This is just holding it where it needs to be. So we're just going to put a couple drops. Kind of feel the seal bottom out, and you know you're in the groove. It's obvious. Okay, I know it looks crude, but I got some tape on the back side of this. This is super gently. I mean, I can move it still, so super gently holding this piece down. And I got a chip clip on the other side, holding it down, hopes to let this glue settle. Okay, now that I got the T-top set, I've got the seal in place there where I like it. It mates up here and here where I want it. I'm not going to go overboard with this. We're just going to put a little bit in spots so that it doesn't lift up. And make sure that we get all the seal just kind of sat in place. So careful with this, dude. Don't get this on your interior. This is nasty stuff. It stinks. Next day, glue is set. This is actually, I'm surprised, actually held really good. How'd this turn out? Let's see. Oh yeah, good. Okay, this is the driver's side. I went ahead and peeled off the old one. This one came out much cleaner, a lot less gook on it. And anyways, the didn't tear at all, and the channel came out pretty. This is actually pretty soft. I'm thinking maybe this one's been replaced at one point, even though it's torn here. So that's cool. I am going to go ahead. I like where this is sitting. It actually came out perfect. So I'm going to mark it. Just a couple spots here with some chalk. So I kind of get an idea where it sits. What's up, guys? This is day 3, I think. 4? 3? I don't know. This is nice and tight. The glue is hardened. It's nice and hard. That's cool. But I want to show you guys something really important. What I want to show you guys, and this is important. This is a part of the little details here. Now, again, I don't know 100% about these. There's a good manual out there floating around somewhere that talks about how to rebuild these cars. But what you want to pay attention to is the water and how it drains off the car. We know that, you know, the T-top, this seal is going to seal the glass from the inside of the car when it rains or when it gets wet. Now, all the other water, the excess water, goes around the edge of the top of the T-top and the back of the T-top, which is going to be down this groove here. This is a channel here that's supposed to run water out and then out basically the edge of the seal here and along the window glass. So the way it's supposed to work is the water drips out here. It's supposed to come out this way and then just drip down the glass, hopefully not get to the car. I think that's how it's supposed to work. I don't know if there's supposed to be a drain hole in here, but I wanted to show you something really important. This right here, where the rubber meets this channel, is really important that it's clean. And mine, if we pull this out a little bit, I pulled it out yesterday, I don't have to pull it out again. Okay, so this was gooped up big time with silicone, rubber, junk. And I cleaned it out yesterday, and what you can see here is a little bit of rust starting to form right here. So what we need to do is we're going to take care of this rust with some Part2 on all 4 corners. There's one here, one back there, and then on the other sides. We're going to take care of this rust here with some Part2, get the rest of this stuff off of it. And then what we need to do is whenever we put this guy back in, we need to put a big glob of silicone adhesive down on the bottom and then up the top here and try to seal this out as much as we can so that the water doesn't run into the car and underneath the weather strip. Otherwise it'll run down this crack here and essentially get underneath the weather strip and inside, whoa, and inside the panel. Sorry, my finger slipped. Inside the panel here. So what I've done to take care of this, or hoping to take care of this with, and again, guys, this is gonna leak. I don't know what I'm doing here. I mean, I know what I'm doing. I've done as much as anyone else. They've looked it up on the internet and read, done some research. That's all we really can do. It's a lot of work, though, to have all this done and have it leak worse than it was before. So I hope that's not the case. We'll see how it works out. I'm no professional. And I guess if it does, then I don't know. I won't drive in the rain. Or we can take it to the shop and have them fix it. That's going to cost money. I don't know if anyone really knows how to work on these things anymore. There's probably someone out there who does know how to rebuild these perfectly, and they're going to be expensive. So I picked up this adhesive black silicone sealer. For whatever reason, Amazon sent me 2, but this is a Permatex black sealant silicone. So it's silicone sealant. This is kind of like the black stuff you get for gasket makers, but this is going to be more of a adhesion. So we want this to help glue down the rubber seals and also seal those corners that I'm talking about. So we're gonna have these on all 4 corners. I've cleaned out all 4. So yesterday, that one's actually pretty clean. Same deal though, we're gonna put sealant on the back side or all through here. Lay the rubber back down and let that sealer, let this sit flush on it, and then put a nice coating of sealant along the top of it. And that is in hopes to make sure that it forces the rubber or the water out and then down along this channel, not into the car. Okay, I've got my Part2. If you guys have never dealt with this stuff before, please be careful with it. Know that anything this stuff gets on is going to ruin and stain and leave and be on forever, including your hands. Okay, this Part2 goes a long way, but we've got it dabbed on here. Okay, I got the Part2 on this corner here. This is the only really corner that has any little bit of rust. The rest of the corners are pretty good. I'm gonna go ahead and just dab some Part2 on it anyways. Okay, let's go ahead and remove this. Like I said, this is barely on. Not even enough to scratch it. Okay, now this is on. I'm gonna go ahead and Use my black silicone adhesive. Okay, the port 15 is dry. I'm just going to show you guys one corner. I've already done the other side. Now I'm going to do the passenger side here. So really, all I'm going to do is just make sure I fill in any of the gaps with silicone on the bottom part. Get this nice layer down here. Put a little bit through here. Just give it something to stick to. Make sure I put it down in this corner here. Okay, now I'm going to run another bead on the top there. Use our gloves, get a nice line in it if we can. This is where it gets messy, and don't drop this stuff all over your seats. This is not a fun job. Okay, so I got the corners sealed up. At least I think I have the corners sealed up. You can see I'm just really filling up the gaps between the rubber, smoothing into the channel. Did the same over here. And that side I've done, but it's got a little bit of tape on it. Tape's peeling, but it's attempting to kind of hold the seal back. But same deal. We've got adhesive, black silicone, smoothing in the rubber into the channel. Same right there. So I know this looks ugly. This is where the strip that holds on your headliner goes, and it will hide all of this stuff when it gets put on anyways. We all know that we don't have a headliner yet, so I do have the strips down there. So man, I don't know. We got nice rubber everywhere, and we're doing our best to hopefully get this thing sealed and the corners tackled, and we've got everything over here pretty much ready to go and put on the car. So I'm gonna let that dry, and once everything's nice and dry, then we'll start putting the T-tops on, and the next series will be how to adjust the windows. I know it's not fun, but we have to do it because now there is a gap bigger than, oh man, I can say a lot of bad things, but I'm not going to. Grand Canyon. Between the weather strips. So the wind noise is going to be terrible just from the window. T-top squeaking is going to be a lot better. Rattling is going to be gone. Wind noise on the window is not going to be any better until we fix the gap in the window. So I'm going to call this video, this is the end of part 2. I will make one more video to wrap this up as a part 3, and that last video is going to be adjusting your windows because that is critical in making sure all this stuff works. Last note to all this, man, how do I say this? If I had the money, if I were rich, you couldn't pay me enough, there's no way in hell I'd do this again. It's not fun, and I'm not discouraging anyone to go out there and do this. It's just not for me. Some people are more patient than I am. Some people have no problem coming in and saying, you know what, I'm just going to do one little weather strip tonight, next night, so they can take 2 weeks and do it. I'm not like that for whatever reason. I had in my mind this was going to be a weekend project. It's dragged on just about a week, and you know, we've taken our time. I think I could have probably spent maybe a little more time done it right, but dude, it's just not my forte. I'll be honest, it is not fun. Putting weather strip in a car, it's boring. And I think the end result's gonna be worth it, but again, I don't know, man, I wouldn't do it again. I wouldn't. I'd pay somebody. I don't know how much it costs. I'd save up, send it to a shop, have it done right. Like I said, don't be discouraged. Try to do it yourself. It's not that hard. It's just slow. It's a lot of cleaning, scraping. If you like cleaning gaskets, you know, you may be up to it. And if you like dealing with sticky RTB, no matter how many freaking gloves I went through, I still managed to get it on my face, arms, legs, probably in the interior. I don't know how I do it. Same thing with caulking in the kitchen. I suck at it. Guys, I'm gonna stop talking, and we have a lot coming. I got check this out. I got a screenshot or a text message for the painter. Got a nice little surprise. He's doing an excellent job. It should be done this week, so the next video, besides this windows, not fun but necessary, window adjustments, we'll be putting the hood on, and then we'll be getting the turbo kit in. Putting the rear brakes on. Headliner. AC compressor's not working. Anyways, guys, make sure to follow me on Instagram. I do post what I'm working on a lot sooner on Instagram than you would see on Facebook. So follow me on Instagram. You'll see it right up there. And yeah, make sure to subscribe so you can get all my updates. If you're a foxhead like me, you get to see all the updates. So guys, take care. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.